Hi, this is Reflection Journal Entry number 1. Um, I am answering the question, what were the most useful or interesting things you gained from readings and class discussions and activities? So I'm focusing on this week, week 4, and as we learn more about different racial groups, I found in chapter 5 of Student Development in College that I resonated with some points in Black identity development and the model of Latino ethno-racial orientation. Um, Running off of some notes here in the books next to me too. So, in the part of the Black identity development, specifically the negression recycling, the authors talked about Black people having self concepts and how they alter it around different groups. Concepts like code switching, bridging, and bonding and attachment. Um, so code switching specifically, I resonated a lot with this part because I noticed I during undergrad I code switched a lot. I think this was because all 12 years of you know starting school, my academic background, I went to public schooling, right? So I noticed I would have more slang in my language, and um, that was not the case for Marquette at all. So when I went to campus, talking with peers and professors, I would talk a little bit like this. But when I when I'm at home, with people that that I grew up with, I would just jump right back into using a little slang and talking different. So but I almost feel proud and good that I took part in this, or I still do take part in this, because I think a lot of it is that I notice the differences in individuals, racial backgrounds and where they come from and the backstories, and there are some things that we just don't share with other groups, right? So that's where I feel that it's okay to do this, and that you know I understand why I do it, and why I keep doing it too. So in chapter 2 of Critical Race Theory of College Student Development Theory, the authors mention that it's crucial to learn about racism, and that it's not, it doesn't only come from people with that fact that they're born into a lifestyle, maybe a lifestyle of racism or racist lifestyle or not, but it also comes from the faculties and institutions. The authors also mentioned that white faculty are more likely to meet with more white students, and therefore the whiteness continues. Um, I guess this is similar to Catherine Orr's comment in the podcast that we listened to. She's a professor at Beloit College in Wisconsin. She says that whiteness is not just the identities, but it also is planted in the institutions and practices. She then talks about how she starts these conversations in the classrooms with her students, and with the fact that a lot of her students are liberals, or and they're for social justice. She jumps right into it. That she knows that her students know this topic is coming, right, and she knows that these are the discussions. And I just, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you top that, right? That's how you should do it, right? Jump right into it, because I feel like we're at a point in society that where we have that chance to learn about social justice, to major in it, to actually make changes in the world. And I that resonates with me, because that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this program, and that's why that's my drive. That keeps me going, and to actually get in here, learn about this and these theories, and to really make a change for all students to succeed in college. Um, so, so this jumps into my second question I want to answer. But before I do that, let me talk a little bit about the and back to chapter 5 of student development in college of Furman and Gallagher's model of Latina and Latino ethno-racial orientation. There was a point in there where they were asking um, when and how will Latinos use their experiences as advantages. This part really kind of struck me, because honestly, I feel like their experiences um, with their race, their racial identity experiences, that's not in society. We know which groups are oppressed, right? And which we know which group is a dominant group. So I don't ever think that their experiences will be an advantage for them, but it's not. It's also it's more of a disadvantage. But to make it not a disadvantage, I feel that we can teach our students, our kids, and to tell them about differences that are in society, right? To making sure everybody knows this history of how we got here and how we differ. That's how we're gonna avoid this disadvantage. So I don't think it's an advantage, but I think it's more of a disadvantage. But it can be a disadvantage when we're all well versed in the knowledge that we know about different groups. So the my second question I want to answer is, how might you apply specific theories and models in your work? I really appreciated the video on sense of belonging. I think it's crucial that all students need to have a strong sense of belonging to get through college. Models like the critical race theory, racial identity model, it helps teach about the not so obvious differences in each and every one of us. My role that I like to do in the future is to really embrace the differences in our racial identities for students, to have that awkward conversation with them about racism or that whiteness, topic, and or just teaching them about these differences that that our racial background has, right? So giving them the chance to learn, to ask questions, and just to understand how this world was made up and how we're shaping the world for the next day, for tomorrow. Um, that's that's the main goal. I think that we have to understand each other's differences, where we come from, because I think about it a lot from where I come from. Milwaukee, it's really segregated, and I feel that groups there, different racial groups there, they feel like some feel like their issues are better than the others, which I don't think that's the case at all. We all different racial groups, they face their own issues and their differences, but there are also similarities. So when we could find the differences and when we could find the similarities, that's when we could come together to really make make our community better, make changes, and make have that last push for for our community to succeed, and in all to make the world a better place, right? So I just think it would be so much easier if we were all like knowledgeable about different racial groups, where they come from, what they're going through, right? How they different from us, um, and how we're similar. So we gotta really truly understand that. Okay, we differ like this, but we share these similarities, and these similarities we have to bring together so we could be in the intersectionality and part of everything, right? So we could all come together and focus on the bigger issue, and the bigger issue are those that we share. I hope that's somewhat right to the definition, but that's what I got from intersectionality, and I just think that we all need to, we all do have to come together to really make the push and the change in student development. So I think it starts here as students and as practitioners or faculty members. That's our role to really um, emphasize all this and put it in play. So that's all I have, and see y'all soon.